Good afternoon, Year 3. How are we? Very slightly different filming location. I'm basically taking you on a tour of my house at this point. So I hope that we're all well. I hope that we enjoyed the sunshine over the weekend. It's now Monday, so it appears to have sunshine appears to have gone. But hopefully you all had a decent weekend, and I hope you're all staying safe and well. So, we are on chapter 22 of our class book, which is The Boy Who Lived with Dragons, and we have just found out that Grim and Liam, but Liam has been growing a giant dragon fruit using his other dragon. So let's see what kind of havoc this is going to cause. Stay tuned to the end of this video, by the way, and I'm going to explain what we're going to do about our next class read. Chapter 22, Supersized Trouble. Anger rose up in me, and I stormed over the wild fence. "Get away from that tree!" I shouted at Liam, who was still crouching beside it. Surprised, he wobbled on his heels and toppled over onto the muddy ground. "Ow!" he yelled, and pulled out the thistle the size of his arm from under his bum. "Serves you right," said Kai behind me. "Whatever you're doing, stop it," Kat said. "You're killing the tree." "Rubbish," Liam said, scrabbling to his feet and looking around for his dragon. "I'm making things grow huge. Well, that thing, anyway." "That thing?" shrieked Kat. Liam really had done it now. You mean the awesome dragon that you have been lucky enough to be looking after? Although looking after is hardly what I'd call what you've been doing. Besides," she added, "that dragon might be supersizing the fruit and veg, but the plants are dying afterwards. It's draining all the goodness and life out of the soil and the plant. What's the use of one gigantic fruit if the tree dies?" Liam looked around at the garden and shrugged like he didn't give one hoot about a bunch of stupid plants. Kat launched herself at him, and for once I was the one holding her back. "Listen, Liam," I said. I took a deep breath and I thought about Grandad. Maybe I could employ a bit of his philosophy about seeing the good in everyone and appeal to Liam's better side. I stepped in closer, keeping my voice as calm as possible. The thing is, Liam, your dragon is causing chaos, and the more chaos it causes, the more likely it is someone's going to notice. We have to protect the dragons, and that means keeping them a secret. I waited, willing for him to understand and to do the right thing. We all waited. Even the dragon seemed to stop flitting about over our heads. But then, he just narrowed his eyes and glared at us, taking his time to eye up each one of the superhero squad as we stood there together. "You wait till I get a supersized dragon. Then you'll see some proper chaos." And then he snorted out a maniacal laugh, reaching forward and grabbing at the fruit, which had now swollen to the size of a beach ball. Wrapping his arms around it, he heaved, but it was far too heavy for him to move. He obviously hadn't thought this bit through. I almost wanted to laugh with relief, except now the dragon fruit was pulsing a vivid green. The spiky skin started to ripple, and I remembered the night Flicker had burst out of his fruit. "It looks like it's going to erupt out of there," Kai said. I nodded. "Get back, everyone!" Liam stayed where he was, his eyes fixed on the fruit as it continued to swell. A grin spread across his face. "This dragon is gonna be epic," he shouted. "It'll wipe the floor with your feeble squirt-sized dragon." He was acting like some kind of evil supervillain. I half expected him to rub his hands together, cackling gleefully. And I guess he might have done, had the fruit not burst at that point and splattered him with huge quantities of green, foul-smelling goo. "Slimed!" cried Kai and Ted in unison and high-fived, looking utterly delighted as Liam staggered around covered in smelly gunge. Meanwhile, the dragon that had hatched from the fruit had passed in an arc over our heads. As we watched, it landed some way off. It was the size of a large turkey and was fluorescent green. Oh, there's a picture of Liam, by the way, being covered in slime. Which made it look even almost radioactive. It raised its head, unfurled its wings, and shook its body. It shuddered, and we all stared in horror. "It's getting bigger," Kat cried. The dragon was indeed growing. It had gone from a turkey to a large sow in the matter of minutes, and it didn't look like it was going to stop. With every shudder, it expanded further through its belly, though its belly was inflating faster than the rest of it, so its wings and tail now looked stubby in comparison. Like Flicker when he was born, the dragon didn't seem to have control over its tail, which flung about wildly, ripping through Grandad's runner beans and sending his sweet peas flying. Its wings obviously weren't up for getting airborne, so it began to undulate its way through the ground, flattening everything in its wake. When it had reached the size of a large, very fat walrus, it let out a rumble that grew louder and louder until finally it opened its mouth and a green, fiery belch exploded out of it. We all clapped our hands over our mouths and noses as the stinky green fog of belch breath drifted over us. "That stinks worse than Dexter after he ate that jar of chili sauce," Kai groaned. "I thought Sonny was bad," Ted said. "That's a whole other level of rankness." Liam, who was closest, stumbled around gagging, his face screwed up in disgust. His skin had taken on a green tinge of its own. "I bet it's like skunk spray. He'll reek of that for days," Kat grinned. There's the dragon, look. Liam wasn't impressed. "It looks like a huge, spiny, winged slug," he whined. "Oh dear, not living up to expectations," Kat said sarcastically. "What a shame." He scowled at her and pulled a face. Then he picked up a strawberry that had been supersized and was looking nicely fit to burst and lobbed it at her. It missed its target and splattered on the ground, but in reaching for another mushy missile, Liam slipped, staggered backwards, and actually bumped into the huge dragon's rear end. Its tail swung up in the air, and something truly noxious exploded out. If we thought the green gas from the front end was bad, that was nothing compared to this. It exploded with such force that Liam was sent flying one way, and the dragon actually lifted slightly off of the ground and flew forward in the other. That's jet propulsion in action, that is," sniggered Ted. The dragon seemed keen to capitalise on its first self-propelled flight of less than 2 metres. It had its eyes on Grimm's supersized aubergines, and the flimsy wire fence wasn't going to get in its way. "We've got to stop it," I cried. But how could we? It was getting bigger by the second, and so were its fiery belches. One of the trunks of the apple trees had already been left blackened. We tried to form a wall in front of us, but you try facing down a ravenous, fire-belching dragon, which is clumsier than you'd be after spinning upside down in the roundabout all afternoon. And there was no way any of us were going anywhere near its back end. "What are we going to do?" Kat yelled. They were all looking at me like I had some great plan tucked up my sleeve. I resisted shrugging helplessly and instead looked for Flicker, trying to buy myself a few seconds to think. but a few seconds is all it takes for things to get from bad to very, very bad indeed. With another shudder, the dragon gained elephant stature, and its next belch set light to Grimm's compost bins. And then Cat squealed, and we all turned to see a tall figure striding down the garden through the darkness towards us. I'm going to leave that there today. So, we have 15 pages of our book left, which I think I will read to you on Wednesday, because chapter 24 is going to be really, really short. Anyway, so I am in the market for a new book, as in I want you to vote for our next book. So if you go up there on the website, at the top of the Free Tea Class Readers page, there will be a way that you can vote for our next book, okay? Which I will read on Friday, because I'm actually not in school at all this week, so I will start it on Friday. So I will put that up probably tomorrow now. So Tuesday, I will put some way of voting for our class book at the top of this page. Okay, I have started emailing people about this and telling them to spread the word. So if you haven't already done so, can you please go and vote for our next class book? If we don't get enough votes, I'll just have to pick one, and then you'll have to listen to whatever I decide to read. So please make sure that it's you that decides. So go up there and vote for our next class book. And until next time, I'll see you on Wednesday. Bye.